I am Sajeevan Balachandran, Chief Technology Officer of CreativeHub and Marketex. My focus mainly is to solving real-time problem of businesses using technology in a purposeful manner. And then, by the way, I am leading the technology direction of CreativeHub with a young and innovative CreativeHub team. So I am going to talk about serverless application development. So you all think like, okay, serverless means no server, application running somewhere else. It's not actually the case. The server is there, of course, but we are going to focus on more on a code and the business logics. So here is the graph. Okay, so look at this. We were started the server initially, that's called VM, bare metal servers, and then come to the virtual machines, then comes to the container. So everything is upgraded and in a way that it's decreasing the management of the server and increasing the focus on the business logics. Now we are in the fourth level, that's called serverless. It's more advanced and it's much better that developer can focus on the code and then the business features, shipping faster, and they can develop even much easier and faster. And they don't need to purchase and provisionings and manage the backend server. That's the advantage of the serverless. Let's say I would say, okay, here the cloud providers will be taking care of the server management. Of course, the AWS, GCE, and then Azure, those providers are taking care of cloud, providing serverless application execution containers. Basically, the platform called function as service. So here is the thing, all the execution happening through functions calls. The platform, the application will be developed in a way that it's trigger the event of server and execute the server commands. It's called event-driven architecture, which is the architectures can be utilized in serverless application development entity. So one thing, developer here, they can easily reduce the timeline in terms of managing the backend. They can increase the time in terms of developing the business related goals. So that's the main advantage. So here, if you look at the advantage of serverless application development, so these are the things. First thing, it's highly available. Highly available in the sense, okay, the application will be available to the user to the maximum uptimes. That's mean 99.999% of availability will be guaranteed because execution is only happening through the developers. The management of server will be happening through providers. So we don't need to worry about this. And the other thing is pay per use. That's a billing cycle providers are giving. Pay per use in the sense the billing will be happening based on the usage of the application. So here the automatic scaling is possible because the scalability of these serverless providers, the giving the options, you can scale the application based on the usage. So when the usage is increased, the server capacity and server resource will be increasing. That's, we don't need to worry about it. Based on the usage and based on the traffic, based on the amount of bandwidth this goes, the application will be performed based on the usage. That's called the automatic scaling. And then here another advantage of this serverless application development, we don't need to spend too much of time on this, how this is going to execute on the environment, how we are going to manage the server. If the server is down, what will happen if the too much of traffic comes? Are we going to manage the this application overload and it will be increasing the CPU usage to 100%. These are things we don't need to worry. Other thing is okay, if the developers is confident about developing the functions very faster, of course can go with those serverless application development. And other thing is here the disadvantage, if I tell you, these are things called unicorn solutions, which means the application need to develop for the particular server. That's the advantage. So the application will be focusing on server wise, not something general application development. So we can deploy the application in container like Docker These application can be installed anywhere in the server, even the AWS, Azure, Google Cloud platforms, anywhere we can install it and deploy it and we can ship it. But these serverless applications need to be developed based on the server events. So the events are being triggered through the application. These events are binded with the servers. That's how the event-driven architecture works. Other disadvantage, I would say, it's like security concerns. The events it's basically functions calls. So we are giving high privilege to trigger the functions to the application. So if any hacking attack happen to the applications, they can trigger any function in the server. So that's a biggest security concern of this serverless application. So I would say next thing is, okay, where to use this application. So let's say there is a MVP, the company wants to develop the application very faster, they want to ship it very faster, they can focus on this serverless application because they are just want to develop and get it up and go to the marketplace, which can be done very faster compared to the usual application development. So shipping is very faster, development is very faster, deploying very faster. Even if you want to ship any features other than that already been developed also can be very faster. So this fast-paced development will give advantage for the business providers, can develop and ship to the market and get to know what is the product usage, how it's being used. Then we can look at, okay, if you want to traditionally develop the application, after that we can easily develop. That's the advantage it gives, and that's the power it gives to the business providers, basically, like who wants to develop and ship it very fast to the market. And this is the best application development for the person who wants to test it out the application in the market very faster. That's advantage. And yes, where not to use, of course, if the application has contained lot of long-term run and it want to be have multiple microservices and it need to be run in a way that, okay, a lot of business logics are like binded with multiple connections and applications, and it's large scale applications, enterprise level application. It's not a good idea to go with serverless application because it's managing and monitoring little bit tough, and troubleshooting it's much tougher than usual application troubleshooting. That's a disadvantage it gives if you are developing serverless application. And last point would be serverless application. It's very easy to ship and easy to maintain, but the thing is it's a very less cost compared to other application. But compared to the normal developers, serverless application developers are very less and not easily find. You can't easily find the developers for serverless application to develop because it's specifically for servers. So that's a disadvantage of like going ahead with this, taking the decision of going ahead with the serverless application. If you are confident about the business providers and then the IT consultancy companies and all, you can go ahead with the serverless application if you want to ship the product very fast to the market.